Okay. So, like I said, we're gonna keep working on our Monkey Master essay. Well, it's an essay that was written. You're not writing an essay. The type of story is an informational essay, almost like a news article, right? This art critic is writing about Congo, the chimpanzee who can paint pictures, and it's written as like an informative article, kind of like what you would read in a newspaper. So we're actually gonna listen to it again just to kind of refresh your memory. It's kind of, because it's an informative essay, there's a lot of information in it. So I want to re-listen to it so that it's kind of more fresh on your mind. Yesterday felt like a really long day, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, we're gonna re-listen to it. Yeah, I kind of like the look of that new one. Alrighty. So while you guys are getting it pulled up, I'm gonna let the background information and the stuff about the author play.
Yes, I got to exactly one minute on my first try.
Oh, like clicking through it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, what was I going to do? Play it. Okay, here we go. Start it in 3, 2, 1.
Monkey Master by Valdemar Januszak. Essay. Background. In this essay, the author describes and analyzes paintings created by a chimpanzee artist named Congo during the 1950s. The author draws parallels between Congo's paintings and the works of some famous modern artists, such as Pablo Picasso and Wassily Kandinsky. These artists were considered pioneers of abstract art, which does not portray subjects as they appear in real life. Instead, abstract artists emphasize the process of making art, as well as the formal elements of color and shape, separate from realistic portrayals. They often work to express emotions and ideas in ways that challenge viewers' perceptions. About the author. Valdemar Januszak, born 1954, is the longest-serving art critic in the British national press. The son of Polish immigrants, Januszak studied the history of art at Manchester University, and in 1977 published his first piece of art criticism. From 1979 to 1987, he served as the chief art critic for The Guardian, a British newspaper. In 1993, he became the art critic for another British newspaper called The Sunday Times, a position he still holds today. He has also made numerous movies about art.
Okay, so, what was I going to say? Oh, right. This essay is about, like we talked about, it's written by an art critic, and we talked about how art critics are people that go and look at art and say whether it's good or bad, if it gives people emotions or not. I still think that art critics have a decently easy job because they get to like say whatever they think about art, and it doesn't really matter what they. I don't know. I'm not big on art critics and art, huh? Yes, they get paid a lot of money to do it. Yeah, but it might not be as easy as I think it is. So let's not take that into like don't trust all of that because that might be harder than I think it is. But who knows? Maybe. I'm sure that so he probably works for like a newspaper, right? I bet you the newspaper pays for him to fly to wherever the art is so that he can look at it and write his critique. So I don't think he has to pay to do the traveling at all either. So he just gets to travel. Maybe that would be a good job. You get to travel everywhere. Okay, anyway, that was a bit of a side note. So this guy saw the chimpanzee's art, Congo the chimpanzee, and this is the critique that he wrote about it. So I'm going to let it play. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
By Valdemar Januszak. Can a monkey paint a good picture? It's a question that has come up a few times during my tenure as an art critic. as a result of various modern art jokes, scams, cons, and the like. Normally, I would waste no time on the issue. It is, or was, my firmly held view that, in the field of art, monkeys do whatever they do by accident or coercion. Monkeys cannot paint. Then along comes a fascinating and slightly worrying exhibition at London's Mayor Gallery, Ape Artists of the 1950s, and I am no longer so certain. In particular, along comes the artistic work of a talented chimpanzee named Congo. Having carefully examined Congo's paintings, all of which might best be described as examples of lyrical abstract expressionism, I find myself assailed by doubts. I like Congo's paintings. A couple of them I love. I'm less sure of the output of the show's gorilla, and not much taken with the orangutans' pictures either. But in all their cases, something of interest is undoubtedly being attempted, and for the whole show the feeling persists that the lessons being taught here pertain not only to monkeys, but also to us. Congo was born in 1954 and produced about 400 paintings from the age of 2 to 4. He died of tuberculosis in 1964. He appeared on television in the late 1950s, the Star Turn on Zoo Time, an animal magazine show presented live from London Zoo by animal behavioralist and the Naked Ape author Desmond Morris. Apparently, the experiments with Congo began by accident. One day, he picked up a pencil and drew a line. Then he drew more, until it was clear to Morris that the chimp's actions were deliberate. After a short drawing phase, it was decided to move him on to painting. Morris had a baby's high chair and tray adapted to create a seating arrangement at which Congo could work. There are photographs of Congo in action, in which particular attention is drawn to the grip with which he held the brush. It's similar to the way you or I might hold a pen, and was absolutely Congo's invention, apparently. If so, that is already a remarkable development. Congo would be given a piece of paper, and in conditions of considerable concentration, would begin painting. The choice of colors was his, red being a particular favorite, blue being a color he disliked. Fascinatingly, if you tried to take a picture away from Congo before he had finished with it, he would scream and throw fits. However, if he considered the picture done, no amount of cajoling would persuade him to continue. The master's work was complete. That was that. The results have been placed in functional wooden frames and hung in a line in the no-frills exhibition box of the Mayor Gallery. The exhibition comes on the heels of a recent auction of some of Congo's works in London, at which an American collector paid $25,000 for one painting, 20 times the expected price. But not even the Mayor Gallery's charmless presentation can dim the disquieting beauty of Congo's best pictures. They shine off the walls like stained glass. There's a cracker called Composition on White Card, painted on August 17, 1958, which is dramatically, even shockingly, sparse. An audacious pink splotch at the center plays a delicate game of tag across the paper with a couple of different blues. That's it. And it really works. For Congo to have finished this picture as he finished it, for a monkey to be this minimal, is deeply disconcerting. Composition on buff paper, painted on October 31st, 1957, is perhaps Congo's masterpiece. Built compositionally around a central expanse of Congo's beloved crimson, it features an array of blacks and pale greens soaring around the red like vultures around a mountain. The mood is pure Kandinsky, the achievement profound. Not all of Congo's paintings get it as right. His range of painting gestures is narrow. The brush has a tendency to go round and round. He is as guilty as any monkey might be of overdoing things, and most of the paintings lack the specific character of the ones I have described. But the display never stops being remarkable. What is really spooky is the care Congo always brings to working within the paper. Only rarely does the brush stray over the edge. and he clearly understands the notion of balance too. If a pink has a blue on one side of it and needs another blue on the other side, he will add one. The absence of muddiness, of colors mixed to sludge through mindless scrubbing is also spectacular. When it comes to pigments, Congo is a purist. So much so that there is some small room for doubt about the role played by Morris. It seems that although the paintings were made for zoo time, Congo was not often filmed painting them because the studio activity put him off. Morris's experiments were mostly conducted off camera, which is a shame. Not for a moment do I question the authenticity of the images or the methods used to produce them, but it would have been interesting to see the extent of Morris's involvement in important aesthetic matters, such as the choice of colored paper for Congo to work on. This use of red, orange, green paper has a considerable decorative impact on the final image. Congo may have selected the colors, but who came up with the original wheeze of using impactful colored paper? How much guidance was Congo receiving? I ask only because this intriguing show could profitably have been bigger, fuller, packed with more information. I read, too, that Pablo Picasso was a collector of Congo's work. This does not surprise me. The notion of a painting monkey would have appealed to the devil in him. What's more, Congo, as an ape, could not reasonably have mounted any sort of challenge to the ultra-competitive Picasso's self-esteem. Morris tells an excellent story of a journalist asking Picasso his opinion of Congo's work. Picasso left the room and returned, his arms swinging like an ape's and clutching his Congo painting, then jumped on the journalist and bit him. Artists and monkeys are brothers in arms, seemed to be the message. On a similar attack, Salvador Dali is said to have quipped, "The hand of the chimpanzee is quasi-human. The hand of Jackson Pollock is totally animal." Apart from Congo, there are works on show by Betsy, another chimpanzee, a gorilla named Sophie, and Alexander the orangutan. With so few examples included, it is difficult to come to any worthwhile conclusions about these other simian maestros, though certainly it is surprising to see how fragile and even nervous are the touches of the huge gorilla. Morris has attempted to give the display a truly gigantic storyline by insisting on the importance of ape art to our general understanding of the aesthetic impulse. It is the work of these apes, not that of prehistoric cave artists, he writes, that can truly be said to represent the birth of art. If that were so, then this would count as one of the most important exhibitions anyone has put on. I am moved to see it the other way round, from the point of view of the visitor, not the creator. Confronted by a pleasing assortment of abstract shapes, we humans have a wondrous ability to find meaning in them and to gain pleasure from them. Art, after all, is only as important as its audience.
Alrighty. So there's our story again, just as a bit of a refresher. So, yesterday, what we did under Making Meaning, we didn't fill out anything on the concept vocabulary. We just talked about what the vocabulary we were going to see was, so nothing needs to be filled out there. We did complete our first read chart, so you looked at the paintings, what did you see, 2 to 3 sentence summary, so things like that. But we did fill out the first read chart yesterday. We also completed the comprehension check. This one is worth, I think like 10 points, 6 to 10, I don't remember, something around there. So make sure that you complete the first what's it called? The comprehension check. That's a grade that will go in the grade book over the weekend. 6 questions. And then we did a little bit of research, right? I gave you 4 things to choose from. You chose one of them. Did a little bit of research and wrote 2 to 3 sentences about what you researched. And then the final one that we did was Close Read the Text, where we wrote down a few questions that we still had about the story, about the essay that was written, and some conclusions that we could draw from the essay as well. So that's as far as we got yesterday. So make sure that if you did not finish those, you go back and complete them. today we're going to skip analyze the text. Okay? If you want to write skip in those notebooks, that's fine. But we're going to skip analyze the text, and we're actually going to work on the language development tab. So there's 3 things here. We're going to look at the concept vocab for this one, word study, and the word network. Okay? So let's go ahead and open up our concept vocabulary. We have our 3 words here. We have purist, aesthetic, and abstract. So who can remind me what purist is? Go ahead. Sorry, say again. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, they like traditional stuff. They like to keep it simple, pure. In this case, it was talking about colors that Congo the chimpanzee likes to use. He keeps it very simple. He doesn't like to mix them all too much. He doesn't put a ton of color in his paintings, right? Like it's not like 85 colors. What about aesthetic? What does aesthetic mean? Any ideas? Or if you click on it, what is aesthetic? Good. Aesthetic is how it looks. Is it pleasing to look at? Do you like to look at it? So having good aesthetic is like, yes, I like looking at that. Having bad aesthetic is like, no, that's kind of ugly. I don't like that. Right? And then abstract. What does abstract mean? Charlie?
It means not perfect and like it's not perfect and like I don't know.
You're on the right track. It's not perfect.
Doesn't always have the right color. Unrealistic.
Good. Not perfect and not realistic. It's like I showed you guys yesterday, Pablo Picasso would draw a person and would have weird shapes all over the face, right? It looked like a person, but it's not realistic looking. That's abstract, right? Okay, so you guys did a little bit of that in art. That's cool. Abstract art is one of the major things that gets sold around the world lately. It's kind of been a big thing for a while now. People tend to really enjoy it. Some people don't, though, like me. I prefer like a landscape. I would rather see mountains than splotches of paint on my paintings. But you know, that's all right. So it says, actually, I don't want to do this one. We're going to skip this one. This first notebook, we're going to skip. Yeah, we're just going to skip this one and go down to the practice part. So you can skip the first notebook. Okay, so go ahead and write skip in there. Yeah, we usually skip it. Okay. So we're going to skip why these words and go down to the practice. You don't have to. It's just so that if you're going back and reviewing it, you don't fill out ones that you don't necessarily need to. This one says, confirm your understanding of the concept vocabulary words by using each word in a sentence that shows your understanding of the word's meaning. So number 1, you need to write a sentence. Sentence using purist. Okay, I'm going to capitalize the word that you need to use. Number 2, write a sentence using aesthetic. I feel like I spelled that wrong. It looks so weird capitalized. Nope, it's right. It just looks weird in all caps. And then number 3, write a sentence using abstract. Yes, but you need to show me that you know what the word means, not just like throw it into a sentence. So the sentence needs to make sense with what the definition of the word is, please. Okay? It's abstract. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. Please spend some time working on this part. 5 minutes. He is what? Oh, well, it's purist. Does that tell me what the word means though? No, but you need to, the sentence needs to give me some context clues about what it means. Because if you say he's an old, sure. No, that could probably work. Go for that. Okay. So, a few more minutes writing these. I'm gonna eat my breakfast. So, work on that, please. Yoshi, get to work.
Yep. What? That's red?
Did you not get French toast? Oh. Do you want the French toast?
No. Go ahead. That's red.
Sorry, I just grabbed the bag. I didn't realize they weren't the same.
Oh, that's red.
Oh, I didn't look. I assumed that they didn't tell me what was in the breakfast today, so I just grabbed them.
Oh, that's red.
I asked if you wanted it, Tyler.
No, I don't really want it.
Okay, then stop complaining about it. Take your head off too, please. Style and hat, please. Thank you. Yoshi, be writing these sentences. Yeah, write the sentences, please. What? Language development.
So like all of it?
There's only 3 things on.
We're doing it. Hopefully it's not all of that.
It is. Probably not.
Yeah. You guys scan it 3 times?
Depends on how good you guys do today. People stay awake and do their work.
I'm not falling asleep today. I didn't even go to bed.
Even the first company. That every time I went there, and the other people will try to get that, try to show those people, so they can forget that, and they have. Yeah.
Oh, how to say.
Okay, about 2 more minutes to finish up these sentences. If you're done, sit tight.
Oh, well, I got one.
Well, get the other 2 done.
I ain't gonna do that.
Okay, bye, Shannon.
I believe that's the one.
The second word is so, I can't say it.
Aesthetic.
I believe it was the first time in the window. And on the pattern.
And how the library's gonna work this year? Or do you have anything going on?
We have a live lesson going right now.
Okay, shall we come back later?
Are you free at 9? That's when we're done.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Ah.
I'm gonna focus here with our Oh, this is not my morning. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm good now. I was really hungry. I'm sorry. Had to eat a little bit.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
Well, the good thing about talking with your mouth full when you have a mask on is that nobody can tell. So, hopefully by now you have written your 3 sentences. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And that actually means we're done with concept vocabulary on that part. So we're going to close concept vocabulary and look at word study. Okay. This one is about adding a suffix to a word. So adding something at the end of your word. Talks about a Greek suffix, ist, yeah, ist. That means a person who does, makes, practices, is skilled in, or believes in something. So in the essay, the author says that Congo is a purist because he prefers the colors of his paintings to be clear and distinct. Use your knowledge of the suffix ist to write a definition for purist, as well as for each of these words: humorist, naturalist, or realist. Then use a dictionary to confirm your understanding of the meaning of each word. So we're going to do this part together. In your notebook, let's start by talking about purist and writing a definition using what it says up here. I'm going to highlight what it says ist means. It's this quoted section. Okay, so purist is a person, basically you use the root word and add it to the end, right? So if we were to write a definition of this one, it would be a person who does, I'll move it up in a second for you. So a person who does, makes, practices, is skilled in, or believes in being pure. I type quick. But essentially, we need to take the root word of what is given. So purist, the root word is pure. I hate that word. It's so hard to say. Pure. And talk about this person believing in things being pure. Or in this case, the chimpanzee believing that the colors need to be pure. This is as big as it's going to get, so hopefully you guys can see that. And I'll give you a minute to write that down, and then we're going to do the other 2, or the other 3 that are listed right there as well. Humorist, naturalist, and realist. No, we're going to finish with 3 more words. We're going to do all 3. Humorist, naturalist, and realist. Okay. So we're also going to do this with humorist, naturalist. Huh? No, mist is, no, because we don't have a root word with the M. So mist just means mist. All right, let's do, which one of these do you guys want to do together? Humorist, naturalist, or realist? And then I'm going to have you guys do the other 2. Humorist? Okay. So when we look at the word humorist, what is the root word? Humor. What does humor mean? Funny. You're funny. So I am humorous because I'm funny. No, I'm really funny. Don't question it. So a person who does, makes, practices, is skilled in, or believes in being funny, humorous, however you want to write it, okay? Humorous. Okay. No, I wrote it. I just typed really quick. So, you guys can copy and paste it, that's fine. From the first one. Okay, and then I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes. I'd like you to do the same thing with the word naturalist and realist. Okay? I don't believe you can make the font size bigger. I don't know. Sorry. Okay, about 3 minutes to be finishing this up, please. Okay. How would I walk closer to make sure? Okay, get to work on about 2 more minutes, and then we will look at our last section for today.
You're bothering me. I messed up on purpose.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and look at the last section we're going to do here. Hopefully you finished up naturalist and realist. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close our word study. And we're going to work on the word network. This is one where we add words that remind us of the connection between animals and people. So just words that you feel like maybe this story shows us a different connection between animals and people. But let's go with at least 5 words here. What do you guys got? Anybody online can send one in the chat too. What sort of words remind you of the connection between animals and people? It might be some of the same words, yeah, but that's all right. Loyal. Kind, I like that. Anything else? Do you have your own? What? Food, like eating it? I mean, I guess we do eat them, but. All right. What else? Let's come up with 2 more. If you have some that you think of that you don't want to say, that's fine. Just make sure you type them out. Okay, so there can be some meanness in between humans. Okay. And then we just need 1 more word that reminds you of the connection between beautiful, favorite. I like both of those. Beautiful, favorite. Any other ones? Did I miss any in the chat? I don't think so. Friend is a good one, yeah. Okay, so there's a couple. Any more? All right. Go ahead and get some of those written down, please. I'll give you a minute. Once you're done with those, don't turn this in just yet. We are going to take the test on this story tomorrow. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of parts to this one. So we're going to take the test on this story tomorrow. So I would keep this, don't turn it in just yet so you can use it on the test tomorrow. But once you finish this up, you can close that. And if you are online, you're able to head out. Keep in mind, though, if you're online, that the times of today are a little bit different because we have a half day. So we have math at 10 o'clock still, but social studies is going to be at 11:30 instead of 12:30. Okay, so keep that in mind. But those of you that are online, once you finish up that section, I'll put it back up in a second. You guys are free